Hi, this is Jody from Poppy Winkle, and today I'm going to show you everything you need to know about Matchbook notebooks. Now, if you're a junk journaler like I am, you've probably heard of these, and you know they're great little fun things to stick into a junk journal as a little piece of fun aside. But they're also great, even if you have no interest in junk journaling, they're such a cute little notebook to keep in your purse. They have perforations up here so you can rip this out. You can rip a page out at a time. And they would make adorable little party favors or little teacher gifts. Anyway, so I'm going to start with the easy ones. If you are not interested in that and want to get to the more advanced ones, that's kind of nearer to the end, but I do show you how to make the whole thing. So let's get going. So I'm going to make the simplest one first. I just took a piece of cardstock and I sliced it down 3.5 inches wide. So 3.5 inches wide. And the reason I did 3.5 inches wide is because I happen to have scraps of paper that are 3.25 inch. So these are going to be my papers, and I just cut this to fit to be just a little bigger. And so down here we're going to want to fold a piece up about, I don't know, not an inch. I think an inch is too long, but maybe whatever. You fold it up. You fold it up. What you want is you want to have enough space to tuck your top in and have it not go all the way down. So you don't want your top to be hitting down here. You want it to be here and still have some overlap. So anyway, there's that. And the two things you have to think about mostly are how do you keep this tight and how do you get your pages to stay in. So every time you make a matchbook, you have to make those decisions, and there's lots of different ways to do that. So here are my pages. Like I said, they're all 3.25 inches wide, and they're all different lengths. And so I kind of like the look of the short ones on the outside so you can see all the different lengths. So I just put it like that. And then to hold them all together, getting my trusty swing line here. And I'm just going to put a staple here and a staple here right close to the top, but making sure you're getting both all the pages. And so then I'm going to tuck that down in here. And I'm going to glue it. I don't want it all the way down because then you're kind of wasting all that paper. So I want it about here. And then I'm going to glue this area and just a little bit of the paper here and on the back. So it all stays snug. And what that's going to do is that's going to hold this tight. So when you slip something in, it's not flopping around. That's a surprise. So if you didn't glue it down, if you just left it like this, it doesn't really hold. So I'm going to get my glue and just do a little bit down here. And a little bit here. And then I still need to put some where the paper is going to be. So right about there. And then push that up. So that should be enough to hold everything where we want it. And then I'm just going to clip it while it dries. So now this one is truly like a matchbook because usually the matches are attached down here and then they're up like this. And so then I have to decide how long. If I fold it right there, there's still a big overlap there, so I'm going to, I can take some of this bottom part off. Maybe, I don't know, maybe an inch. I think I can take an inch off, but I'm going to take a little less because you can always take more, can't take less. Yeah, so there I still have room to tuck it in. And then I'm just going to fold it over. Tuck it in there, fold it over. And that is about as simple as it gets. So there's your matchbook notebook. Now, of course, you can decorate. You can decorate it any way you like or not. And let me show you a few other ways. So this one was made much the same way as that last one, except with 3 differences. First, which is the most exciting, is that I took my needle, my sewing machine without any thread, and I ran the needle through this whole packet and perforated it. I don't know, can you see that? Yeah, I perforated it so you can rip these pages out, which is just so fun. So all of these pages all the way through are perforated. I folded the whole thing in half and ran my sewing machine one time right down there. The second difference is, and you know what, once I did that, I never made another one without it because I like that perforation. The second difference was it was attached, I attached this more like a traditional notebook at the top instead of at the bottom. So I just ran a little bit of glue down here to keep this guy tight, but the papers were attached at the top. And the way I attached them is also different because I sewed along the top. So after I perforated the pages, I folded them all tight in half and put it against the cardstock and then ran a thing of thread right down the center. Right there, you can see it. So there's another way. So here's one that's similar. I used decorative, homemade, embossed paper, cardstock. So that's the outside. And I didn't want to mess up that pretty paper with any thread. So it's just very plain. Again, I glued the bottom just halfway up to keep it tight, but then so you can still tuck in. And I'm going to show you how I made it so that no thread is showing. Okay, so here are my scraps of paper, 3 1/4 inch wide. Now, of course, it totally doesn't matter what size yours are. If you have them whatever size, that's what size you can use. And then you just want your cover to be a little bigger. And so I just did the exact same thing. I cut this 3 1/2 out of that same piece of cardstock. And so I'm going to grab some of these and just fold them in half. They are anywhere from, I'm going to use ones anywhere from 6 inches to 4 inches long. Now if you wanted them to be all the same size, you could totally do that, you know, the same length. And again, I'm going to put the little ones on the outside because I like that look. I'll probably do a couple, maybe I'll do a couple of each kind. Oh, that's a whole different one there. Oh, look at that. Okay, I think I'll do it like that. There we go. So there's my little pack of paper. Now I'm going to take it to the sewing machine. Of course you don't have to do this if you don't have a sewing machine, but I just think it's so fun. And I'm going to just run an empty needle right down there, maybe a 1/4 inch from the top, and I'll be back. Okay, so here we are, perfectly perforated. So now I got myself a piece of just scrap cardboard. This is an old piece of a filing folder. And it's the same width, so 3.5 inches, no, 3 1/4 inches. And just however wide, it doesn't matter. And I'm going to put that on the outside. This is going to be how we glue it to our cover. So I folded it and it's on the outside, and now I'm going to run a thing of thread down the center crease in between those 2 perforations and sew that on. So here it is, the thread holding it all together is visible here, and then there's the perforation, and this is all a little booklet now. And in this one, what I did was, instead of adding this section, I just sewed it right to the cover. That last step, I just put it right to the cover, and then so you see the thread. So that's the only difference here. Now we're going to take this same action here, fold this up a little bit, and then I'm gonna put the pages just here at the top so we don't waste any having them stuck under here. Oh, although it's not gonna, it won't close then. Here, I have to bring it down a little more. There you go. So again, you want this, you want the cover to have a good overlap with this bottom part, so it stays tucked in. And so now we have that, and we just take a little bit of glue on both sides of this, glue here and glue here, and just glue it to this. And that holds that whole packet together inside. And probably what I would do is use a color that matches. So I should have used blue here, so that way it doesn't show ugly like that, if that makes sense. So anyway, I'm going to do my glue and put it all together. So I have glue on both sides, and I'm going to put it right in the crease and kind of fold it over, put it in the center. And then fold it over and kind of stuff it up in there so it's tight. And that sticks pretty fast. And then I'm just going to fold this up and glue just kind of down here, just enough to keep this tight, just like I did on the other one. But not all the way, because you have to be able to tuck in. And so there you have it. I have to say, this is my favorite. This one is exactly like a matchbook because it actually has a squared off top. I don't know if you can see that, but it has a squared off top here, and it makes such a nice little notebook. Like, you could throw this in your purse. Oh, I think it would make such cute party favors. I just think this is adorable. So I'm going to show you how to make this one. So again, I started with my papers. These are also 3 1/4 inches wide, but they are longer. These are 11 to 10 inches, something like that. And I folded them in half. It's some old graph paper, some old notebook paper, and a paper bag. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to sew through and perforate, and then I'm going to, then I'm going to sew through the center with one of these. So perforate first, then put this on, open it up, and sew down the center. So here we have the file folder little tab sewn on top. We have the perforations, and then in the center you can see the thread where I sewed right through the center. And then for the outside, I just used an old beat up file folder. And it doesn't matter if it's got mess on it here, because if you're going to cover it, if you're going to decorate it, just leave the inside be pretty, and keep the mess on the outside so you can cover it. So I'm just going to trim it flat because it has kind of a rounded edge over here. And then here. All right, 3 1/2. So there's my cover. And I'm going to put it like that and just kind of get a hint of how long it's going to be. I can probably cut off at least this amount just to get it out of my way for now. And then what I want to do is, see how this file folders have these weird little folds? I guess so you can fill them up more. And so I'm just going to bend that one, and that's what gives me my folded top. See that? So that's the top. And I'm just going to kind of bend this the same. Just make it not quite such a point. So when I put it in there, when I glue it in, it's also got some width there. So here's my notebook part with the glue just on the file folder addition. And I've got the pretty part, the clean part on the inside. And then I'm just gonna put that up in the in the fold and center it. And then I'm gonna press it down. And I'm just gonna clip it for a minute. So here's our little booklet so far. The pages are all glued in and they're all perforated. And now we have to decide how big this thing's gonna be. So we're gonna put, let's see, we're gonna put these in, these grommets or eyelets, whatever they're called. And so we need to have space for that, and that's what's gonna hold this flap close. But we also need space to tuck, and the tuck won't go where the grommet is. So we need enough space to accommodate those grommets. And I'm going to put this ugly side here because I don't want that folding up. So maybe about here. Let's see, yeah, that'll work. And then this we have to cut so it will fit in here but not interfere. So somewhere around here. I'm going to cut that off. Okay, so here we have it. We have the front cover, the tuck spot, and I want to decorate this before I go any further, which I don't think I ever did that before. So let's give that a shot. I'm going to round the edges. And I'm going to ink the edges. In case you're unfamiliar with inking edges, I just use a little sponge brush, and this is Tim Holtz Distress Oxide in Vintage Photo color, and you can get that at any craft store or online, and you just kind of dab around, and that gives it like an old distressed look, and it gives it definition and kind of finishes it off. And then I'm going to, I got this piece of paper I cut to fit, and I'm going to round the edges and ink this as well. I think I'll cut it here. Or should I wrap it down? No, then your pumpkins are upside down. Yeah, so I'm just going to cut it here, and it'll just be a front piece. And I think I'm going to put some down here too. So here it is. I rounded the edges here where the cover had round edges, but I left it flat here where this was a straight line, and I did the same on the bottom. I left it straight and curved up here just to kind of follow the line so it has a nice border all the way around. And the only thing left is and I think I'll just leave the back blank. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. And I might do some decorating here. But anyway, the last thing to make it work is we still have this flap here. Now you could just take a little glue or a double-sided tape right here and just seal that up so then it has a nice firm hold for you to tuck. But I'm going to use eyelets or grommets because I like the way that looks. I do have a very old way of doing it. Like all my tools are old, so I'm never sure if it's gonna work. But anyway, this isn't old. So I'm gonna put a little hole here, and I'm gonna put a little hole here, and hope they're aligned. They're pretty good. And then I'm gonna, that hole isn't big enough. I don't have the right size hole punch. And so I'm just gonna enlarge it with my awl. And then put it in. This is where it's this is where it's scary. I got my tool at an estate sale, and it was probably somebody's grandmother's from 50 or so years ago. I don't know. It's old. No crocodile for me. So we'll see if we can make this bad boy work. But it did work. Yay me. So you put the pretty side where you want to see it, and then the not so pretty side on the back. All right, success. 1 out of 2. I didn't make that quite big enough. There we go. Yes. Excellent. And there we have it. This would be so cute as like a teacher gift, a Halloween teacher gift, or a party favor. Just a little notebook to keep in your purse. And you write down your grocery list, and then you pull it off and you take it with you. Oh, very cute. So anyway, if you have any questions or suggestions, I'm probably going to play with this a little more and see what I come up with. But thanks for watching. Bye.